Hello everyone, this is Square Root of -1, and this is going to be a tournament recap of Deathstroke's tournament that started the week of September the 18th. Yeah, so my first round opponent was WeirdRat. Now, WeirdRat is someone who I know very intimately, in the way that we've probably played the most games with each other compared to any other player in Littlewargame. So he knows what I do, I know what he does. We're pretty evenly matched. I'd say I probably would consider myself a slightly favorite, probably maybe like 70% over him, or at least right now. So yeah, so he's very versatile, able to play Rex, able to play Beast, able to play Mech as well. He has some really good timing pushes, builds there around that. But also because we know each other so well, there's a lot of potential for mind game. Let me just actually pause for a little bit and let me talk a little bit of my game plan coming into this. First off, I wanted to open up with something aggressive so that I could set the tone in the series. And I also wanted to play a little bit of each race. So I didn't want to put all my eggs in or only practice Beast and then have that fail or something like that. Additionally, we actually played a warm-up game before this. We both were just, hadn't played a game, and then he was like, yo, why don't we play a warm-up game? So I was like, sure. And that's when I thought, okay, I can potentially use this against WeirdRat. It's kind of a scummy thing to do, but, it happens. Yeah, so what I did in that warm-up game is I just did a standard 1-den expand with a worker scout. So what my plan is coming into this first game is to make it look like I'm doing something similar, except not really. So let's go to my point of view, and then let's see what happens. So I do a early worker scout, and then this worker is going to see his worker. So obviously, respect, and I'm just going to move on to make sure he's not doing anything suspicious. So anything suspicious would be something like a 2-den, which he really doesn't like to do, or some sort of 2 racks or something like that. So here's this. I sneak out this worker, and I'm going to put my second den over here, and he's not going to see that, which means I'm going to have a psychological advantage. He's not going to be able to scout that it was a 2-den, especially if I had put it here or somewhere over here, he would have potentially seen it. I do see a Rax opening out of him, and I'm expecting just a standard Rax play. So he goes back, I go back, everything looks good. I think I've managed to fool him, potentially, into thinking that I'm going to do just a 1-den expand. Or potentially 1-den into 2-house expand, which is pretty similar. Yeah, so anyways, I do have this 2-den, second den here. The reason why I didn't put it out here or here earlier is a potential for an Orca Scout, which he did. So I wanted to hide the fact, and so I put it here, which is somewhere that if you were checking for proxies, you'd probably check this area and this area, but you wouldn't really check something over here. So yeah, now part 2 of my plan is I wanted to trick him into believing that it was still a 1-den. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide all the wolves that come out from my second den. So I'm not going to run them all the way in, or else he would know that something's up. So I think I keep them around here-ish, I'm not exactly sure. Or do I pull them back? Yeah, well, I pulled them back now. I think I rallied them across the map together. Yeah, I probably did. So one thing I noticed is that he isn't being aggressive with his raider. Normally, WeirdRat, this is poking out a little and he's going back, right? So normally, if he has a second raider on the way, he would send his first raider, attack a couple of times and try to send it across the map to delay my castle, and just do a little bit of scouting as well. But the fact that he's keeping his raider home tips me off to the fact that he probably isn't making a second raider, or he's going for a fast castle. So if you look at the build, he actually did go for a single raider into expansion, which means I'm very happy at this point. He's only seen defense out of my 2 or 1-den. I think he might have caught a glimpse of it here. He does the mistake of blinking forward, and now he doesn't have a blink. or a flash, I guess. So this is the time. This is my time to strike. I go in, and I want to get to this ramp before his workers come from the main base. I think it's very close. Yeah, so if he was a little bit faster, then we can find that Raider unfortunately used its flash, so couldn't break away. And things are looking pretty good for me right now. I'm thinking about getting a second base later, but not right now. So this was, by the way, a 10 supply to them, so it's not like a 8 supply or a 9 supply, because that might have also tipped WeirdRat off that the dense overlay later. Or sorry, early. I hide one wolf in here. I'm gonna bring it in right now. At the same time, I'm gonna go for a surround. He's probably distracted over here, which allows me to get a surround on this archer. Does pose workers, but that's a little bit too late. And from here, it's pretty much over. A little bit of just target fire micro to target some of the weaker workers. That wolf in the main base dies. I notice he does have a second Rax, which is good. I get my natural, and yeah, so things are looking really good for me. Yeah, and this is pretty much where the game is taken. So, some good mind games, I think, from my point of view, from my side, and I take game 1. Alright, let's move on to the next game. Alright, so game 2 on Cursed Temple. Cursed Temple, let's go to my point of view. Player 2. This is a map that he chose because he lost, and Cursed Temple, I don't know about you, but in my mind it's a very cheesy map, so I'm expecting some sort of cheese potentially, given that he chose this map. The other potential options were like, what were they? Silent Fjord, and also a bunch of non-ladder maps, so it made sense that he wouldn't choose a non-ladder map, especially if he hasn't gotten a lot of practice with it. But I expected Silent Fjord, but it wasn't. So I'm expecting right now WeirdRat to do some sort of cheese. So what I do is I do an 8 house, a little bit faster house for compensation, and I also don't wall off on the low ground, because like I said, am expecting some sort of cheese. Go for a worker scout as well. I'll speed things up. So yeah, and then a Rax opening. So I come in, I see the Rax, and I'm thinking, okay, I guess he's not doing some sort of cheese. I probably should have checked further to see if it was a 2 Rax, but WeirdRat doesn't really do that as much. And I decide to go for an archer. So the reason why I didn't go for a raider is, number one, I've been practicing archer openings actually and experimenting with it. There's a bit of a story with that, which I could talk about right now. I guess I will, since the game hasn't really started yet. But it comes from Destroy Call actually, doing the 1 den expand, but instead of going for a quicker natural, what he decided to do is go for a second house. There were some other people who did that, I think, but like he was the first one that brought it to my attention. And then I'm gonna mute the chat so that Deathstroke isn't all annoying. He talks a lot, unfortunately, but that's okay. So what happened is that I was thinking about that. Hey, maybe why can't I do something, or WeirdRat and I think WeirdRat actually came up with it. Why can't we do something with archers in the same way, where we go for quick racks and then no raiders but just archers, and then go for a second house before the castle, and that actually seemed to do pretty well, especially against sorry, just 1 Rax Raider into expand plays. So that was some sort of my inspiration for just going for this archer kind of build as well. I chase off the first raider, nothing much to say, let's just skip over to speed it up. Raider comes, it leaves, that's fine. Okay, so I go for a workshop. Why do I go for a workshop? Number one, this map is really good for drops, I think. cata drops. Like this base is pretty droppable. If you sneak in here, you get to the natural and the main at the same time. This map as well. This is a pretty, I'd say, some sort of mech favored map. You can also like wall off pretty easily this base. This base is not that good. I don't know. This is kind of like a mech map in my head. So that's probably why. I move across with 4 archers. I probably should have waited for 5 because 5 archers, 1-shot or 2-shot workers and stuff. Confirm the castle. I'm gonna go in and see a handful of archers, and I'm like, no, I'm good. That's 3 archers. I'm just gonna chill here. So yeah, I'm thinking this is okay. I'm just gonna transition to mech. I'll get a 3rd base later, and it'll be all good. But I think you'll see in a few moments. Actually, why did I pull back? I pulled back because just to deal with this raider thing. Raider harassment. I don't kill it, unfortunately, but I was busy there, that's why. I think I come here, and then this is when I first notice the catapult. I think. Please tell me I'm right. Yeah, there we go. So I see the catapult shot. I'm thinking, okay, he's probably going to go into mech as well. Then I just pull back, and I'm thinking, okay, what I have seen some people do on this map is, I think, like some sort of 2-base all-in, 2-base push, some sort of like workshop, like 2 workshops maybe, or 2 racks. It's usually something like 4 production buildings, and just march across the map, tower up here. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe that's what his plan is. So I'm a little bit worried, but because I also decided to go for this workshop, I feel pretty safe at the same time. I also get this advanced workshop as soon as I saw the catapult shot. So yeah, I'm thinking as long as I have a similar sort of army, I should be good with defender's advantage. Just having things rallying across or spawn closer, and then I feel confident. Oh, check a taste off these raiders. I think I kill 1. Yeah. So and then I'm thinking, okay, I want to make defend this sort of 2-base all-in potentially. Confirm that it is, which is what I'm doing with this. I'm looking to check the 2 other bases. I didn't go straight across the map because I felt like that'd be too obvious, and if he was set up like right here with catapults or even here, that potentially could have not gone very well for me. So yeah, so with this archer squad, I'm looking to see if there's a 3rd base. I'm looking to see, I check here first because that's generally what I think is the best 3rd base. Nope, not there. I'm gonna take a 3rd base of my own. The reason why I don't take this one is if you do have catapults and like dropships, this is very droppable. Same, you can like go around here. I prefer this thing, I think. Maybe it's a mistake. I go in, I see some more houses. I don't really see much. I don't see him move out. So I'm thinking potentially maybe he moved out and I missed it, but I don't think so. It's probably still somewhere. His army is probably still in this base. I'm going to check to see if he has a 3rd base right here. With this archer, I don't see anything, and I'm just like, I probably should have checked further in, actually, but I don't see anything, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a 2-base all-in. I want to do some sort of counter damage, but his army is still at home. And this cata drop, unfortunately, is not going to get as much damage as I would like. A little bit of poor mic, I should have picked that up, get some nice hits, but I am going to lose these catapults, and also, I think this airship goes back, but I still lose these catapults. But I've confirmed from my point of view, no 3rd base, and I have a 3rd base that's almost finished, and I have some catapults here. As long as I survive this quote-unquote 2-base all-in, which it really isn't, I'm fine. One thing I should have noticed is that his number of production buildings is just 1 rack, 1 workshop, and 1 advanced workshop, so I should be safe. Or I should know that I'm just ahead and it's just a standard macro game. But I'm thinking, okay, this is something where as long as I defend, I should be fine. So I see this and I'm thinking, okay, here comes the push. I'm gonna build a tower. I think I built it here. I'm gonna make sure my catapults are up here. Yeah, there's that tower. And then all I'm thinking is, as long as I hold this, as long as I push him back, I should be fine. I'm setting a soldier across to keep an eye on the third base timing. And like I said, catapults on the top. I'm feeling pretty good because even though I lost my dropped 2 catapults there, I still think I have a defender's advantage and I should be good. Have this ballista, I want to chase it away. That is a lot of units, but I don't know, with the ballista means he probably can't go across. And now that he's moved back, I'm feeling even more confident. Gonna go for another cat drop. I have +1 attack for mech on the way as well. And I see no third base. So I'm thinking I'm miles ahead right now. I'm thinking, yo, this is great, this is perfect, this is exactly where I want to be. But this one, I think I was actually trying to go around this way, but I see this. And I'm like, oh shoot, he has this third base, why didn't I check over here? So now I realize, darn it, I'm actually not that far ahead as I thought. I honestly really should have known that earlier, but now I'm like, oh shoot, what am I supposed to do now? I gotta just do more drops, so I do another drop. This will actually become my downfall. Trying to do too many drops and just losing them without doing any fatal damage. I think I've killed only 1 worker so far, so I just lost, if you look at it, 2 catapults for free essentially. This ballista is in a nice position to shut down this drop. Gonna do some damage, but yeah, that's a handful of work kills, and I have this drop at the same time. If you could unload, please, myself. And then once I see this with my soldier, I have this over here to go for another base for my 4th base. I'm trying to do as much worker damage as I can. A little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage here, and I'm just gonna take it to a map game. Is my idea. I do use this drop essentially for free. That hasn't really killed anything. Did a worker pull here, did a worker pull there, but I'm hoping with this over here, I can do a little bit more damage, especially because I saw that all of these were weak. I'm going to drop this over here and hopefully get a whole bunch of worker kills. I think I move it over, yeah. And so harassment is going okay. I'm doing quite a bit of damage. Notice how I'm doing harassment with archers, because archers breaking in mech versus mech is pretty useless. So I'm focusing down the workers. I do use the whole archer and the dropship, but I think that's alright. So far I've killed 15, and the worker count is in my favor. So right now, even though I have lost a lot of units just doing harassment, I've lost 5 catapults and stuff like that, and a handful of workers, I'm ahead economically, and I feel pretty good. Additionally, one thing I've done is I've also gone into mages, attacking into mages. Why did I do that? Mages are pretty good against mech. Fireball does a lot of splash, and also does splash in a line. Given mech units are really slow, it's a pretty good idea. Do a little bit more harassment over here as well. Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. This tower honestly is kind of trash because it doesn't really protect anything. This is kind of like autopilot mode, where this would be good against Beast, where it like covers the ramp, but I honestly should have been protecting the mineral line or the gold line. That's okay though. So this is just a little bit of light harassment. I'm trying to control this area so that you can't just walk across the map without me knowing it. I'm gonna go for a drop here. I also sent these 2 workers. My plan was, okay, maybe I just like tower up here and like get a nice foothold and deny this base. I was thinking, oh, maybe over here it's too obvious. Again, more harassment. This comes in, I think this dies, or does it not? No, actually this probably does a lot of damage. No, I pulled away in time, that's good. This ballista spots this, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. Oh, this drop does pretty much nothing, it just dies. So, one common theme is I am losing a lot of catapults trying to do damage. And if it does damage and I survive, that's good. But if it does damage and I don't survive, I'm just losing catapults. at the expense of workers. He's also been diligent with his macro. He's pretty much caught up in his workers, and also right now I've lost 6 to 1 catapults. That's 7. Oh, also, one thing is when I see this mill, I realize that WeirdRat is someone who likes to go for gyros, mass gyros in mech v mech. So I go for I transition into ballista. I think I had 2. Yeah, I do had 2, and I think I added a 3rd one by mistake. I was probably looking to only go for 2. I'd probably have to go back to the replay, but I think what I did is I saw this and I overreacted, not realizing that I already had 2, and I went for a 3rd one. But that's a tiny mistake, but it could add up in sort of longer games. So right now I want to talk a little bit about who's advantaged right now. I have mages. There was a little bit of a mage fight here, and I was able to push his army back. He destroyed this tower. But I have mages, and that's my advantage. But I had like 3 or 4 of them, and I lost like 2 of them right there. So that means that tech advantage that I had, non-existent. I do have this foothold, but like he's clearing it out with catapults, and I lost my catapult over here. He's doing a little bit of damage here. Actually, he did a lot of damage. A full mineral line. Unfortunate. So now I feel like the game is kind of slipping away. If you look at the units, I've lost pretty much all my mages except 1, which means that tech kind of useless. I also lost a whole bunch of workers here. I've been trying to do some damage with all the drops and stuff, but hasn't been going my way. And I'm feeling like, oh shoot, this is a comeback for him. I need to do something a little bit more drastic. I think I decide to get another base, and I go for more workshops and just try to push across the map. We'll see how that happens. A little bit more cat drop damage, but these gyros will shut them down. I do get a few kills here. Honestly, I shouldn't be getting these, especially if he was paying attention, but yeah, like I said, he likes to go gyros because that forces you to build ballista, and also it shuts down your drops pretty well. So yeah. Anything else I really want to highlight in this game? Not really. Let's speed it up a little bit. So this is just me walking across the map. The fact that if you don't have Gatling guns in your army, Gatling guns can mess up with your own catapult AI. It's really important to have them. This is a fight that I think all my ballista were all at home. Here they come back, so I really shouldn't have lost all these units, but that's okay. I trade them out. I'm gonna go across the map over here and attack. Yeah, he's gonna run his workers away, and this army will get cleaned up eventually, which is unfortunate. I do see this go across the map, I think, or maybe did I miss it? I think I actually might have missed it. I have these. Okay, this is also something that I want to highlight. I put these workshops here because I was planning to do this like huge parade push across this map with the towers. That was part of my plan, but didn't work out. And what happens eventually is that this comes to bite me. So production is important. If you lose production, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you just can't make units, you're kind of dead. So because I put these 2 workshops over here, that meant that this is a very snipeable location, especially when you have tons of catapults, and catapults do around 60 damage, and these are going to melt my production. So if you look at this, I have like the same number of buildings and everything, and if this game went on longer, you know, I might have a chance to like come back or something. But because these are poorly placed, WeirdRat is able to just take them out, and that's like a lot of and that's a big advantage for him. I'm trying to do what I can to come in and like defend this, but that's not gonna happen. So essentially what happened is, I guess I overdid catadrops without doing much damage, and then just lost them all for free. I don't think I made it out with any catadrops really, which is really bad, because the idea is ideally you go with a bunch of workers, you save all the catapults as well. This one comes in, it drops, and then immediately dies, so it doesn't do anything. So yeah, at this point, I'm pretty much dead, especially with my production down. And I'm gonna rebuild stuff here. Oh, I can use some more workers on this side to a drop. Yeah. Oh, one other thing is that I think in the middle of it, I think I muted chat so you can't really see. But like in the middle of this game, it started to lag really bad, and partially it was because of Deathstroke watching. So that was a little bit annoying, and I was pretty frustrated. But yeah, what can you do? He actually left in the middle of the game, so props to him for doing that, but I was annoyed. I think WeirdRat was also a little bit annoying potentially, but yeah, I'm just gonna speed it up. Yeah, so I just, yeah, I get outplayed, even though I had a really good initial sequence of events. I was really ahead in the early game, or early mid-game. I think the biggest mistakes were, number one, extra advanced workshop, not ideal, and losing 2 workshops here, and also losing all my catadrops for, which led to a small army. Also, probably the mages didn't do as much as I hoped, especially because the mages, they just, 3 of them died after killing like 2 catapults here. Yeah, so it's a slow, bitter fight to the end. I'm, right now, you know, at this time, I'm just thinking about what I want to do next game. I already kind of knew it was over for a while. I had lost this, I had lost that, and yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this game. I did say GG, it's just that I muted the chat. On to game 3. Alright, so game 3. Of course, we're going to see it from my perspective. So game 3, I'm thinking, okay, mech. I don't know if you know about me a lot, but mech is probably my weakest race, or weakest faction out of the 3. So even though I considered Cursed Temple a good map for mech, didn't work out. And I was thinking, okay, let's go Rax, because, you know, I went Beast once in game 1, mech in game 2, Rax in game 3. Makes sense, right? So yeah, one of the things I guess I should talk about is map choice. I did choose this Silent Fjord because I haven't really looked at any of the other maps, the ones that are like not in the ladder pool. There's Acadia, and there's also Wolf Ranges. I've played like a couple games on each of them, but not enough to be familiar with them. Yeah, I'm gonna do a Worker Scout just to be safe, and just a Rax opening. I guess we'll speed things up. There's not much to say in this game, or yeah. So I do see it's a den. WeirdRat says sus, but nothing sus, I think. I guess he's kind of sus because when I did the Worker Scout in the first game, I did the 2-den, and then the second game I did do a Worker Scout, but I don't think he actually saw it, because his worker was on the far side, and I came in and I just went back immediately. So yeah, I do see it's 1-den. I think it's 1-den, probably. One little thing I do is, instead of going straight across the map, I do check over here, just in case it is a 1-den or a 2-den with 1 proxied when I go back with my worker. Just a little thing you could do in your games as well, just to be extra safe. And I do go for a raider opening. Like I said, I have been experimenting with archer openings, but I'm overall more familiar with raider openings. So yeah, we'll speed it up. Try to do some damage. Try to get some kills. One thing I do actually want to mention is that I think because it is a tournament, both WeirdRat and I, we haven't been playing truly great at our levels, I think. I think both of us are actually a lot better than what we portray in these games. I guess just nerves with tournaments and stuff like that. Like stuff like this where he loses a wolf or stuff like that. Or him dying to 2-den usually doesn't happen in just any old regular game, but yeah. So my plan, my preferred way of playing Rax is 1-den or double raider expand, so 2 raiders into castle into a quick third base. And that is what I will be doing in this game as well. Oh, I do lose this raider? No, I do lose a raider. Or I think I lose like 2 raiders early on, which is really bad. Normally I really wouldn't do that, but nerves and stuff like that, I guess. He's also losing a whole bunch of wolves, which normally he doesn't really do. Yeah. I think it's like this raider I lose. Maybe it's not. Yeah, okay, I lose that one. And I think I lose this one again as well when it gets chased down. I do get this worker. Yeah, I really shouldn't be losing these and taking extra damage and stuff like that. But I am doing what I'd like to do. Quick third base. And then power up to I like to power up into 5 racks, something like that, and put on a lot of pressure. But because I did lose some raiders in the early game, which I really shouldn't have, I see this, right? I see this many wolves, and I'm thinking, okay, this is quite a lot of wolves. I'm thinking it could still be 2-den, but that means he's probably didn't stop wolf reduction for an earlier third, which is something that a lot of people do. So I'm thinking, okay, that means his third base is going to be probably late, and I probably should be able to do a lot of damage with something like a 4 or 5 racks pressure, as long as I survive this. So pull this back, and then try to go for a choke here, a little bit of micro here. Actually, one thing that I noticed from WeirdRat's perspective after this game, we talked a little bit. The soldier's gonna go to the corner and stay there so he doesn't get surrounded. Is that he came in with this attack, and then what he did is he saw, let's change to WeirdRat's perspective, he saw 4 racks, and he assumed that it was a 4 racks 2-base build. Like here, so he sees 4 racks, and then I had all these 4 racks just here. So apparently he assumed that it was a 2-base 4 racks pressure, and he tried to like stay in one place, or not stay in one place, prepare for that. But yeah, so not my intention. This isn't like a mind game or anything where I I put 4 racks at my natural and like prevented him from scouting my third. It's just like he just didn't check any of the thirds, which is a mistake by him, but that's okay. So yeah, apparently after seeing that, he decides to go for like 6 dens, which is, oh yeah, he also built a tower, which honestly he doesn't need at this moment in time. But yeah, so this is a pretty big mistake by him, I think. And also, I think with like nerves and stuff like that, it's something that could happen, but really unfortunate. Let's go back to my point of view, I guess. I send these 2 raiders out to confirm the third base timing, and then the rest of. So what I'm going to do is I like to keep my army here when I'm not doing anything, because it's easy to come back this way and defend here, and also this way and defend. I did full wall this, which is nice. And so, okay, so this is something where I try to pull his army this way in one side, and go hit on the other side. Something that, a lot of people do. Very simple, very easy to pull off, but like very effective, especially if the opponent overcommits in one spot. So like honestly, he could have only used like this many wolves, right? So like that's a handful of wolves that should have been somewhere else, but they weren't. So yeah, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do pressure. I want to pressure WeirdRat into not taking the 4th base while taking the 4th base on my own and just being better economically. He has this sort of fortunate Simpson here actually, which I use against him. This is a little bit of a mistake by him, I think, especially because you want to be very open. You're like getting surrounds and openings. It is gonna die this force, but I try to make sure to target down and get units. At the same time, I'm attacking over here, taking out the tower, doing a little bit of damage. So I just want to keep him on the back foot, deny any potential 4th base here and here, and yeah, just macro up and play better. Just have more units. One thing that you'll notice is that whenever my units are about to die, or just whenever I'm fighting with the units in general, I want to be targeting down specific units. So if you just A-move, units will just attack whatever's closest to them, as long as they're, the same priority. So this is a neat little trick. He did a held position so that his snakes could attack and my soldiers couldn't. So instead, what I did is I just killed his animal testing lab. So thing over here. You see, notice here I'm just like targeting down weak ones, little things like that. Really add up over time. Over here, if I just A-moved here, I wouldn't have been able to get those 2 snakes and that wolf, right? So a little bit of micro here and there add up over time eventually. I'm getting a 5th base, and I know that this is his 4th base because he hasn't gone this because my dudes have gone that way, so I'm feeling really, really good right now. Yeah, and then I think we'll just go on. This isn't like a cast or anything, so I'm just gonna highlight some fine points and stuff like that. Yeah, just make sure targeting down workers and stuff, attacking in multiple places. It's like a magician. Look this way, attack the other. Using choke points like this, so that these can't get us around, or if they do, it's only the soldiers. Stuff like this, just out expanding. So this is just something that if I want to go back, he told me he misread the situation. WeirdRat misread this whole situation, and he went for 6 dens on 3 bases, rather than going for like a fast 4th and then going for more. So that was a bit of a mistake, which led me to be to comfortably have an economic lead. Soldier harassment, took down a couple of workers. I have another soldier contingent here. This attack didn't do much, but that's okay. And yeah, it's just... He does a very good job of holding on, but I think I took out this base. He's only on 3 now against 5. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll speed over to the end. Some hold positions over here. From both sides. Pick down some workers. Yeah, I do position into mages because most of them will sneak. Fireballs are really good. Even here, just targeting down a few workers or a few HP units. Going for a drop here to kill some workers, but I see this and just pull it back. For the fireballs. Push them back. Yeah. Yeah, I took this base even. Yeah, I think this was a bit of a snowball. I took some really good fights early on, like the one here was pretty good, and just denying his 4th base for so long meant that I was in a good position, and just pulling him apart. Damage here, damage there. He does take this space down, but I already have this space, and I saved pretty much all the workers, so... yeah. There's not much more to say, I think. I also haven't seen any dragons or werewolves, so I'm feeling pretty confident that he's still stuck on Wolf Snake. If I had seen werewolves, or if I had seen dragons, which he does eventually get later on, then I would have reacted accordingly. You know, if your dragons, you know, add more ballista and stuff like that. Some more damage over here. I do see a werewolf here, but I think I'm too far ahead, so it's okay. This is probably just gonna all die. Yeah. I just think I had a really good advantage early on, and I was able to take it to the end game and convert it into a win. Yeah, so like I see the dragon, I get some ballista. Yeah. Oh, I think I also target down this werewolf then, so that you can't get any more werewolves. I also do go for the workshop here, just against the werewolves. Things I could have done differently in this game. I feel like maybe after getting some really good initial traits, like doing some multi-pronged harassment here and here, I could have went for just a straight up full frontal flush. That might have been a good idea for just an easier conversion, but I think I just prefer playing this multi-pronged style overall. This mage has gotten 9 kills. I think most of them workers from over here. He's trying to expand over here, but yeah. And then just the supplies tell the tale. That's a lot of workers. Yeah. This is pretty boring, I guess, if I don't really have much to say. Some work on worker action, 23 minutes into the game, and GG. So yeah, I do defeat WeirdRat, which is actually really unfortunate for WeirdRat because I feel like he's a very strong player, someone who could potentially win tournaments. I did get really lucky in the first game with the build order win, and also the deception working. Game 2, a little bit unfortunate for me. I had a really good advantage in the early mid game, but I wasn't able to convert it due to some mistakes from me. Game 3, you know, some slight hiccups. I lost a couple of raiders, but he also lost a couple of wolves. I think just nerves, tournament nerves is a big thing. And then him misreading his situation and staying on 3 bases was a mistake. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for round 1. Hey, so hello. Square root of negative 1 back here. This is the finals of Dreadstrokes tournament. I was unable to find Mr. Pampaka for our semifinals match, so I got straight into the finals, which is unfair, in my opinion, along with a whole bunch of other issues that came up with the tournament. But I'll talk about that later. Let's focus on the finals for now, the games. So my opponent is Aicy, one of the developers, one of the top players for sure of Littlewargame. Yeah, so this is going to be game 1 on Ravaged. So the first thing that comes to mind when I think about AC and his playstyle is he's probably going to do a 1-den expand into dragons, which is basically what I'm expecting, and I have a build prepared for that, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Yeah, so AC is a very good opponent. Likes to play a very aggressive style, I think, of Beast. So usually like 1-den into quick dragons, and then you get a third, and then you get werewolves. So it's very tough to deal with in straight up macro games. He's also a very strong opponent. He's Grandmaster consistently in StarCraft 2 on the European server. He's played in tournaments and all that, so he definitely has, I think, an overall skill advantage over me, but that's okay. I do have something planned. So we're going to go with 2-Raider Expand, the usual, one of the regular Rex builds that I'm quite fond of, a very standard build. And since it is game 1 of the series, that is sort of like the attitude, the that I want to set. I want to take him out with a prepared build, but also something where the beginning of the build is pretty similar to everything else, so I can, mind games and all that. So my preparation is, because he likes to do a um, uh, uh, one den into quick dragons. Especially on this map, what he likes to do is he likes to put his dragon's lair in a place that's really close to the edge of his main base. So if you take a look, I don't know if I can, but over here, something like this. So like at the top of the, okay, that you're not gonna see that now. But I'll show you anyways later on. So this is a first-person point of view, so I recorded my point of view as I was playing, which meant I was really debating about whether I wanted to do just a replay cast like I did with my games against WeirdRat, but I felt like the first-person point of view would be a little bit more instructive and a little bit more useful, so I did do that this time. But yeah, anyways, I'll show you my prepared build. Essentially, the idea is, because AC likes to put his dragon's lair in a place really close. Oh, there's the wolf, but we'll get to that later. Because he likes to put his dragon's lair as close as possible to the edge, so that his dragons have less time to travel across the map. I knew that I could abuse that with a tower rush at his dragon's lair with the bird for the sightseeing. So anyways, it is a one den as I expected. He gets his wolf trapped here, which is a big mistake actually, and it is going to go down. And my other raiders across the map, I'm just confirming, making sure it's a one den. And by now I've seen, I think, 4 wolves, so I know it's very likely going to be the Destroy Called style build, which is the second house before the castle. Yeah, and then one thing you need to know about playing the One Ras Expand against the One Den is you honestly don't need to keep your first raider home as long as you pull workers. So ideally, you want to send your first raider across the map to ensure and delay the opponent's castle, with like I did here. You should be able to, with good micro, save yourself from dying on that home as well. So a good blink over there previously, just to grab that wolf. And right now, I think this is a bit of a build order win, a bit of a good start for me. And yeah, that raider over there just dies right now. That's really unfortunate. That's a bit of a mistake for me. I had thought I'd clicked it back home, but I didn't, so it just gets surrounded and dies. But that's okay. I still feel like I did a really good opening. So I have this worker going across the map. This is going to be the one that builds the tower. And I have a second Rax coming up, so it's going to be like a 2 Rax pressure with the tower into 2 more Rax, so 4 Rax, and just try to kill him is the build that I had planned. I'm getting a few wolves over here, which is really good. Ideally, as the beast player, you don't want to lose any wolves, but a little bit unfortunate for AC. I get another wolf right there, which is really good. So I sent this worker actually a little bit too quickly. I think I forgot my preparation a little bit. And there's that bird. I'm going to send that across the map for the high ground vision. So while that worker should have been a little bit later, but that's okay. I check the third base, make sure I get confirmation of that. And then with that worker, I'm building a house because I need to build a house anyways. It could potentially come in for Sin City later on. So yeah, so 2 racks, have that worker over there, and the bird coming. So ideally, I want to see where his dragon's lair is, and then I want to build a tower that's out of range of his worker. So a constructing building has really small sight lines. What's the word? Sight lines, I think. Okay, so I confirm. Usually builds it over here, around there, so I'm going to build my tower over here so that I can tower rush and the idea, I'm not sure what the ideal response is. It might be just to repair and continue working or continue making dragons. It might be just to cancel and redo, but you really don't want your the dragon's lair, because the whole point of that build is to have get that quick dragon's lair and then go across the map, do some harassment damage. And here's a little bit of just raider micro. Not amazing, but not horrible for me. He shouldn't really be chasing with those red hit point wolves right there. That raider gets trapped, but I blink it away. Yeah, so overall, some sloppy wolf micro from AC here. And you really shouldn't be losing all these wolves to those raiders. You should be playing a little bit more defensive. Yeah, so there's that tower. Let's save that raider over there. One little thing that I do with the soldier is I target fire the weak unit so I can ideally get it. And AC over here, once he sees the tower, he's going to cancel. There you go, there's the cancel. I'm actually not sure what the best response, if you are playing this that Dragon's Lair build. I think ideally you just don't build it at the edge of the cliff so it can get tower rush. You just put it somewhere normal, like in your base. So now, because he's cancelled, I know he spent a lot of tech and resource and time to get that Dragon's Lair, but it hasn't. It's not going to be paying off for another, I don't know, 50 seconds or something like that when the dragon comes out, the first dragon pops out. So I currently am in a very good position. That raider, I blink away and it gets trapped, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Um, that's okay, it happens. I have a handful of soldiers actually. I try to do a tower, the house to block the tower so that I can continue building a tower, but that doesn't work. I remember those soldiers bring them over. And I think I had yeah, so I have 4 racks, I just want to kill him right now. His game plan of getting dragons didn't really work, so I'm really ahead. It looks like he's gonna pull the workers, but I think I should be fine here. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident here. I also see where the second Dragon's Lair is. Yeah. So this is a bit of a good preparation victory for me, I think, where I was able to prepare a build specifically designed for AC and specifically designed for this map, where you can, because I knew his playstyle and how he would like to build that Dragon's Lair, just to get that little bit of advantage here. And then just some micro. This worker is gonna finish the tower just barely in time, which is great. I put that on auto repair so it'll repair it automatically. And then there's his first dragon. Actually, that might have been... I think he went 2 layers, actually, just looking at the timing. He probably went for another one above or something. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. But at this point, I've done too much damage, and I have too many soldiers, too many units, and it's a bit of a builder to win for me. So good preparation for myself, I think, and a little bit unfortunate. So this is just, yeah, good preparation, I think. There's the GG, and we're gonna go to game 2. So I'm feeling pretty confident here. My preparation worked, and it's always great when your preparation works. This is why, ideally, you want to be a player who's a bit more unpredictable. If you only play a specific style, or if you only have specific builds, then it can be very exploited very easily. So AC chooses Sylvan. Sylvan Charm is... I actually don't know if it's actually in the map pool, because the map pool is a little bit different. Deathstroke added like Acadia and some other... I don't remember, some other maps, but it is going to be Sylvan. Who cares? So with Sylvan Charm, you have that back natural and what else? It's a 4-player map, so it's kind of big, but... So I'm gonna go for the Archer build. So it's gonna be an 8 house and 9 racks. So a little bit, you cut a little bit of economy, but the build flows a little bit better actually with the earlier house and earlier racks. I'm also still expecting him to go Beast at this point, which is why I pulled out the Archer build. This Archer build is pretty good against Beast, especially. So the idea is you do 1 racks, expand, and then you essentially you move out with 7 archers, which is the magic number to 2-shot wolves, and then you kite back, you know, trying to pick off wolves as best as you can while taking a third. So it's a pretty strong build, especially if the beast player hasn't played against it. So that was my idea, but as you'll see, he actually doesn't go for beasts in this game. But that's what I expected. One other thing that I make sure to do is I'm gonna check the back base for any shenanigans. AC pauses, but that's okay. So I am gonna check the back of my Pocket Natural for any shenanigans, such as like raiders jumping across, or um, there's that build, the only tower rushes build, where you can glitch a worker across the chasm and build towers there. So that is my idea, or that is what I'm gonna do just to be safe. Yeah. And then my overall game plan is gonna be, or my overall game plan was gonna be that 7 archer timing attack into third, and then just play something like 5 racks and just push. So yeah, that's what was going on. I guess nothing much happens here, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about the tournament and how things could have done better, how things could have been different. Um, so one thing that I disagree with is if you are gonna organize a tournament as like an admin, you really shouldn't be playing inside the tournament. This is also something that Itano Circus brought up back when Physics Fan did his, I think, February tournament of 2021 or 2020. I'm not exactly sure. One of the two. I think it was a February tournament. But it's a conflict of interest, and you can't really um, be a fair moderator, fair admin, when your interest as a player overlaps with your interest as a tournament organizer. So that's something that I wish didn't happen. I wish I had hoped, or I guess I think it would have been better if Deathstroke didn't play in the tournament. That's one thing. Another thing is just the scheduling and the time conflicts. So the reason why most people, when they do two tournaments, I think it's better if you have something that is just a 1 day, 1 time thing, because that way you have a specific time frame and people know whether or not there's the raider. By the way, so I'm actually shocked that he's playing Rax. But anyways, I think it's better if you do a specific time frame. That way, people know exactly when you have to like clear your time, right? And then you can dedicate and you can like commit to that time if you want to play, right? For something like this, where it was supposed to be a week-long tournament, obviously you can't do that because there wasn't a specific time. And then what happens if, like for example, some two players are unable to find a time? Like, what's gonna happen? Do you force someone to? Do you eliminate someone arbitrarily? Um, yeah, stuff like that. How do you try to get a game somehow? So it's a little bit complicated, and I mean, in the ideal sense, like everyone's able to find a time and things are good and stuff like that. But that didn't happen. I think there were multiple games. I saw that Raider going that way, by the way. So I'm gonna bring my archers back. Um, so there were multiple games. For example, me and Mr. Pankaka, we were unable to find a game for weeks, and then what happened is that Deathstroke just literally just gave me the win, which I also disagree with. You really shouldn't be able, shouldn't arbitrarily give people wins unless they actually forfeit. He might have forfeited, but I don't know. I'm unaware. So yeah, that's something that I disagree with. Additionally, just the whole how it got delayed and how things honestly could have been a lot better if they were just in 1 day. So those are things that could have should have been taken into consideration. A little bit of a derp moment there where the archer is pushing the worker back, preventing me from getting that third base as quickly as I can. Um, yeah, so tournament. Yeah, from a tournament organizational standpoint, I think things could have been handled a lot better. But whatever, it happens. I see this back to the game. Take out the worker, take out the raider, and I see the workshop, and I'm surprised. I guess I wasn't expecting that, but whatever. We'll just play against it. So I have a whole archer advantage here, but he does have a tower, so I'm gonna sneak around and try to do some damage to the wall, to that, and hope try to get in. but probably not going to happen, honestly. He's going to repair it, and then the DPS and the, what's it called, the workshop was pretty close to completion, so I know he's probably going to get a catapult out really quickly. So I'm just trying to bait his archers in by dealing damage to that house and trying to pick off whatever I can. But yeah, a little bit of miss micro there, and I see the first catapult shot, and I'm like, can I get this house before I move back? Yeah. So from here now, I'm just essentially thinking about what's my game plan gonna be. I know he's gonna play like mech probably. Do I want to like, what do I want to do essentially? And the thing I decide to do is, it's a big map. I'm just gonna take a hidden base, and I'm gonna just try to win with just straight up more units, more macro. And I was thinking, okay, I'm just gonna drop into his pocket natural and see if I can do some damage there that way. So right now I'm just checking the number of workers I have. That's why I boxed all my workers there. And I'm just gonna break down those animal testing labs. So there's that worker. I'm gonna send it across and take a hidden base. And hopefully that will put me ahead economically, especially if he doesn't scout it. And yeah, that's essentially my game plan. The reason why I take down these animal testing labs on the other side of the map is because as a Rax player, you do want to have a little bit more maneuverability against mech. It's kind of similar if you're playing Beast against Rax. You want to get those surrounds, so you want to have bigger surface area, wider surface area. So I have that advanced workshop, so I want to do the drop thing into the natural. That's my idea. Right now I'm spreading out my units a little bit, I'm kind of seeing if there's going to be some sort of drop play. These archers bugging out because pathfinding AI is fun. One thing I want to note is that I don't think it's best to put your houses at the absolute edges of your pocket natural in this map, because they can be attacked from across the gap with like archers, or more specifically if you're playing against mech, then they're going to be able to kill it with catapults while being unable to be contested. So that's something just to note. It doesn't really matter too much, but just one small thing that could, excuse me, one small thing that could help. I'm going up to 5 racks here, I think. And once my first dropship, airship is gonna spawn, I'm gonna try to drop into the natural. I'm gonna see if I can hit that forge from across the ledge. I can kind of get at it, but not really. So, save that soldier who was there by mistake. Don't know why. Yeah, so here's that first dropship. I'm gonna start dropping into the natural, into the pocket natural, and hopefully do a lot of damage here. Ideally. I see a double forge. So that second forge is something that I feel like is not a good idea. Some good catapult dodging there. Especially because I'm doing a kind of a assault right now, and double upgrades isn't gonna kick in until much later, so I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot here, and just continuing to elevator my units across the map. Workers back to mining. Make sure I'm not getting supply blocked. I am going for that sorry, not wolves, mages guild. There's a cat drop in my natural. That towers was barely unable to finish, but I'll just finish it now and chase that drop away. So yeah, I'm still doing damage in his main base, or his natural, which is good for me, and I'm able to ward off this without taking too much damage. So here I target down, shift click those gatlings with my archers. One little thing that you have to make sure is when you do pull your workers, if any of them were constructing buildings, you should make sure you continue to build them. Just small things. to pay attention. These soldiers are derping around, which I didn't really want them to, but I'm gonna pull them back. And right now, I'm feeling okay. I've done quite a bit of damage with my drop, which I'm thankful for, or I'm kind of unexpected, but you know, I take what I can get. I have that fireball coming in, and then I'm gonna start producing mages soon. Actually, I think I mistake and don't go for it. I'm here making sure to target down the weak workers, so that you can actually kill them, and making sure I get my upgrades. That ballista is gonna try to ward off some drops here. AC is frustrated. Yeah, honestly, he wasn't playing to his level, I feel like. Definitely AC is a very strong player, but I feel like, I guess having not played for a while is a big issue in terms of form. And I do want to say, maybe it's giving me a little bit too much credit, but my preparation was pretty good in that first game, which could be one of the mental things, you know. Again, targeting down that weak worker there. Then I move it in to hopefully get some splash damage, but no splash damage is done. I'm going to repair that. I misrally my castles, but that's okay. I'm going to grab a fourth base, but it's actually my fifth base. And then drop me over there. I see that tower, and so I'm going to send a whole bunch of soldiers to take down that tower. So this catadrop went in without me seeing, but it wasn't able to do enough damage, or I was able to pull my workers out in time, so that's good. And then I'm just gonna pick up and go into the main with that. The two soldiers, they kill a Gatling gun, so it's not bad. Pulling back my workers so that they don't get killed. They still take some damage, but those archers and that ballista, they didn't quite come across as far as they needed to, but that's okay. And AC unfortunately loses that dropship with the ballista, or dropship with the cata drops in it, so that's really unfortunate. I'm still in his main base, and I'm gonna take down his fourth, deny his fourth for longer, so. And he says GG. So yeah, that was quick finals. I think officially, he says, so one small thing over here as well. Dreathstroke in his challenge zone, it says best of 3, but we decided, hey, let's do best of 5. But he's like, he just forfeits the last game, so we can just say it was a best of 3, essentially. So yeah, that's the finals, and GG's to AC. Yeah, um, that's pretty much it for me. I'm out. Thank you.